let's see the waterfall model. I told you there are some 5 steps are there. These all are your 5 steps. The first one will be your requirement analysis or requirement definition. You can say that requirement gathering also, and you are going to analyze this thing. So next you can see the arrow mark. We are going to find out the system and software design. Here you are going to design the system or design the software. Next you can see this arrow mark. Next is implementation and unit testing. You have to implement the design architecture. You have to go for the testing. Once unit testing will be over, unit testing in the sense module wise testing. Once this testing will get over, you can go for your integration testing and system testing. In this integration testing and system testing means you have to do the whole of the system. You have to go for the testing. Here module wise testing, and here system test. Here unit testing, and here system testing. The last one, you have to go for the operation and maintenance. When you will go for this system, this module operation and maintenance, here the customer can say for the changes. Then you have to go back in this way. If he needs the changes in integration part, you go here. If he wants the changes in unit testing, go here. If he wants the changes in software design, then go here. If he wants to change in some requirements, then you have to go for this requirement, and again you have to follow off all the steps. This is the design architecture of your waterfall model. So now here, what all are the phases are there? Whatever we have seen in a diagram, that all the things has been written in a stepwise here. What is the first step? Requirement analysis and definition, then system and software design, then implementation and unit testing, then integration and system testing, then operation and maintenance. What is the drawback of this waterfall model? Why most of the companies are not agreeing for this waterfall model? Because if there will be any change, see, you can see here, if there is any change after the process, then it is very difficult to go back and do all the changes for all the process and give the operations. It is very difficult actually. But in agile, first once the requirement gathering is done, we will go for the customer needs. If the customer needs some more requirements, collect it and keep it here. So this process will get over here itself. We are not going back to this step again. We will directly go for the design. According to the software customer needs, we are going to design the softwares. So that is quite better than your waterfall model. But here we will not ask the customer stepwise. We will finish all the process, then you go back to the customer. Then as per him, he will say the changes. Then you have to go for the steps, which is quite difficult to follow. And also one more point is there, inflexible partitioning of the project into distinct stages makes it very difficult to respond to changing the customer requirements. Whatever I discussed, it is going to do. As there is inflexible partitioning is there, as it is inflexible partitioning is there, so what will happen is in the distinct stages we cannot change any of the things whatever the customer needs. So that is quite difficult. So few business systems have a stable requirements, they can go for waterfall model. If they don't have any plan to change, they can go for any of the waterfall model system. So the waterfall model, it is used for large system for the engineering projects where a system is developed at several sites. So this is a plan driven nature, and it will help you if you have a small project, then you can go for this waterfall model. Now this is all about your waterfall model, and next class we will see the incremental development. Now in the first requirement definitions, what it is going to do actually is, here there will be the analyst, the information domain, function, behavioral requirements of the systems are very much understood before designing the waterfall model. So all these requirements will be documented and discussed with the customer for reviewing. That is your requirement gathering definitions in the first one. In the second point, that is system and software design. So in this, it is one intermediate step in between requirement definition and the coding. So this design will focus on program attributes. So what all are the program attributes here? The first one is data structure, second one is software architecture, third one is interface representation, and the fourth one is algorithm details. These four steps we have to take care of in this system and software design. Then the next one will be these requirements are translated in some very easy way to represent form using which the coding can be done very effectively and very efficiently in this requirement gathering. Coming to the next one, that is your coding. So this is one step in which the design is translated into machine readable form. In this implementation part or coding part, it is one step in which the design is translated into machine readable form. If design is done with sufficient detail, then the coding can be done effectively and the programs are created in this phase, in this implementation phase. Coming to the next one, that is integration and test system testing. This coding begins when this step will begin when the coding is done. While performing this performance testing, the major focus is on logical internals of the software. The major focus will be on logical internals of the software. So, the testing ensures that the execution of all the path and the functional behavior. So the purpose of this testing will be to fix all the errors to and also the bugs and also to meet the customer requirements. This is all about your integration and system testing. The last one is nothing but your operation and maintenance. This is the longest life cycle phase. So in this phase, when the system is installed and put in practical use, the errors can be get introduced here itself. And we have to correct all these errors and we have to put all these things in a major purpose of maintenance activity. In this way, we can enhance the system service as new requirements and also then you can maintain all this system under the maintenance. These all are everything about your waterfall model step by step. The last thing I want to tell you that the drawbacks of waterfall model. There will be some 2 points. Some you can make the 2 points as 4 points also. I'll just tell you the drawbacks of waterfall model. It is very difficult to follow the sequential flow in software development process. If some changes are made at some phase, then it may cause some confusion. That is the first point. Second point, the requirement analysis is done initially, then it is not possible to state all the requirements explicitly in the beginning. This cause difficulty in the project. That is your second point. Third point, the customer can see the working model of the project only at the end. After reviewing of the working model, if the customer gets dissatisfied, then it causes the serious problem. That is the drawback of 3. The last drawback, the linear nature of waterfall model induces the blocking states because certain tasks may be dependent on some previous task. So it can cause your long waiting time. This is